In your book, you revealed something that you didn't share publicly, and you mentioned that you have kept this secret for 8 years.
Yep.
So maybe you want to share with us that incident.
So in 2012, I was supposed to receive the Distinguished Alumnus Award from my college. Then the letter was already in the mailbox. I didn't know. So somebody called me and asked me. Then after that, he apologized and said that they have to take back the award. They cannot award me this round because Mr. Heng Swee Keat is going to be the guest of honor, and somebody felt, not from the college, I'm sure, somebody higher up felt that it's not appropriate for Mr. Heng to be giving me the award on stage, So, I didn't want to, of course, it's not pleasant at all, but I just left it as it is. I said, okay, I thought I would get it after that also, but it was delayed a year. The next year, I got the award eventually. It took me a long time to think whether I should even share this, and nobody knew about it other than my wife for the last 8 years. Because I thought, never mind, I feel that our country needs to be more open to talk about such things, rather than some people feel that we need to have a very sanitized view, right? We say that we have political education in schools. Sure, you like the curriculum, there's some plans for it, all that, but how are you executing it? Are you really allowing views to be heard? So, what's wrong with me receiving the award, from Mr. Heng Swee Keat? I'm not even sure Heng Swee Keat knows about it at all. It's probably somebody feels that, hey, it doesn't look nice. Let's put it one side,
Congratulations on your new book, Journey in Blue.
Thank you.
I'd like to start by asking you a couple of questions of your journey in the Workers' Party and how you first met some of the Workers' Party leaders. Maybe you can share with me your first impressions of them.
As you read from the book, my first approach to them was through email to Mr. Lau and Sylvia, and as expected, no reply in a busy period. Then through some other ways, I managed to get my message to Eric Tan, then treasurer, and he contacted me quite immediately, so I met him the first time, very near his house in Holland Village market there. Mr. Lau was quite soon after that. I think Eric managed to arrange a meeting a few days after that at his Meet the People session. So I waited, my wife and I, we went there, waited for a while until his last resident was over. Then we met for, I think, at least more than half hour to maybe 40 over minutes. And my impression of Mr. Lau was, he must have a long day because that was budget period. And then he had Meet the People session, and here he was meeting me, still very sharp in his mind, listening very attentively to what we had to say, and offering us some good insights.
Can you recall perhaps some of the questions that Mr. Lau asked you that night when you were with your wife? Perhaps why do you want to volunteer, or why do you want to join the Workers' Party?
Actually, to be honest, he didn't ask a lot of questions. It was us who were asking questions.
I see.
And I think it's quite typical of Mr. Lau to be observing. And over the years as I work with him, I think a lot goes in his mind as he speaks with you and he does his analysis and stuff like that.
And you brought along your wife.
Oh yes, it was like you read in this. Because I didn't really prepare her very much before then, that was something that I was interested in, because I thought it was a bit too remote, that I wasn't even sure whether anybody would be interested in me.
So just wondering, how do you get your wife's buy-in? How do you manage to persuade her?
That was probably one of the most difficult things that in my journey, getting that first part started, because it was very sudden that I went to the Workers' Party and I didn't quite prep her for it. So she wasn't quite ready, and she was initially still quite skeptical that no, this can't be happening, that I don't think that I will even succeed in I mean, she didn't think that I might succeed in what I was trying to do. But then, after a couple of weeks, Mr. Lau said that, they are prepared to let me have a go at the Juche. And that's where I spoke to my wife. And then she was really, really upset with me that, this is something so important and I didn't discuss earlier. And so she wouldn't give me her blessing. And then the clock was ticking away. I had, like a couple of days to decide. So I tried one last go at it. I told her, how about you ask your mother, whom I know is a very staunch supporter of Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, and then maybe if she can say yes, then she might agree to it. And the next day she came back and said that to go ahead, because she spoke to her mother, and mother said that if this is something I wanted, then she should support it.
I see.
Yeah, so I quickly sent in my membership. I quickly get everything started before she changed her mind.
I think you mentioned in your book as well that you experienced great opposition from your parents. Yeah.
I mean, you have to understand that they are Chinese teachers. They were Chinese teachers, and they were brought through a time where it was very turbulent. There was, in fact, their colleagues were either arrested or lost their jobs. So then here it was that their son is to be in this. But I think the reality dawned on them when I was started to be featured in the media, and then when they started seeing me appear in the newspaper, they got really worried that something might happen to me, and they told me to pull out of this. But that was a bit difficult already, because I was already like announced, or at least I had been surfaced as a likely candidate. So I told them I couldn't pull out. I had to go ahead with it. But thankfully now my father has become a very big supporter. In 2011, he walked along with me in the streets near his house to visit the neighbors that he knew.
What's your impression of, I think, some of your WP parliamentary colleagues, especially in terms of who do you perhaps most admire?
I mean, of course, in the context of my time in Parliament, and who has the biggest role to play, of course, that has to be Mr. Lau, because he was the Secretary General, and very much the direction is shaped by the Secretary General. And bearing in mind that Workers' Party went into Parliament in 2011, we had that big win in Aljunied. And all that is based on this towards the First World Parliament. There's a lot of expectation of what is First World Parliament. It's not easy doing that, and also understanding that when you win elections, you don't just go in and it's just a parliament work. At the back, you have given a whole town council. There's a lot of issues, that I'm sure the whole team had to face to overcome all those hurdles, and not to disappoint the people that voted for them.
Mr. Lau, during your time in Parliament, will have also edited maybe some of your speeches or give some feedback. Do you see your own growth as a politician as well?
Yeah, I think there's this whole thing always about political judgment, right? Because as politicians, we are in the limelight. We have to be conscious how things come across. I mean, of course, not everything I agreed, and I think I shared in the book that there were some things that I had to defend myself when I started asking too many questions related to early childhood. And then he told me that no, I should stop asking already, because that's too many questions in that. I might be deemed as I'm trying to use it for my own business, and then I had to explain to him what I was trying to do. And to be fair to him, after he listened, he says, I should file an adjournment motion because I had a lot of points. And I had very good proposal that I should take it all the way out, So which I quickly jumped on the opportunity, and the next Parliament sitting, I filed the adjournment motion.
Do you think you will continue this journey and hopefully to enter Parliament as an MP?
I did say in the book that, it's good to be NCMP, but only one term, because either that you either come in as an MP or you don't come in again as a second term as an NCMP, because I think there's not much point. If it's to prove that you can do Parliament work and get experience and to profile yourselves, yes, but Yeah.
I see.
We are in politics, you have to try to win. I think I put it into the reflection in the last chapter.
Yes.
That this is a memoir, and yeah, so I am not actively seeking another round of election. So this election that has just passed is likely to be my last round. Yeah.
So I was about to ask you, this question because in your concluding chapter you mentioned that all WP candidates issued a slightly different badge with the hammer logo for HGE, and you say that you have collected 3 badges. Would there be a 4th? So so now you have share with me your views. Just wondering if you are asked to run again in GE 2025, will you accept?
Okay. Firstly, I think I shared 2 stories in this book. One is a Chinese saying, 长江后浪推前浪, which translated means the waves, the new waves in the mighty Yangtze River pushes the old waves forward. So the old waves go out, the new waves come in, right? I think that's what I'm trying to do, that I see new wave and very good professionals coming out as volunteers, as elected MPs and helping out in the party in many positions. So I think that it's time for a new batch to really take the stage going forward. I do not make any active plan to be back. I'm still helping in the party activities in whatever is needed. But if there's enough people coming forward, then I don't see a need for myself to be in 2025.